Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
All right, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Frankly Francisco podcast. Today, my guest, he is a hot commodity right now, boy. He is on every podcast available out there now. He's been guest starring a lot of podcasts. He actually runs his own podcast, the Brandon Janeaushow Show. He's been doing this for 2 years. He has a lot more experience at this than I do. So I'd like to welcome Brandon to the show. How we doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Nah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on, man, because you're everywhere right now.
Hey, man, listen, any chance I could get to help and be a part of anything from my people that's been supporting me, I'm going to do it. I ain't got no time for any of that, man. I'm happy to do it, man, for you.
So explain to me what made you come across to become a podcaster? What was it that drove you to go out there and let your voice be heard and for people to find you?
I really started doing podcasting because I wanted to do radio. I wanted to be like a radio host. I wanted to be like Charlamagne the God. And yeah, so it kind of, I love sports and I love music. So I knew I wanted to do something with it. And then I started like doing YouTube. I was watching Charlamagne the God. I was watching Breakfast Club interviews. And then I kept watching YouTube so much that they recommended me to his podcast. The Brilliant Idiots, and I started watching it. And it was with somebody I actually already knew on that he was doing it with, and I was like, man, let's do it. So I was like, but it took me a while. It literally really did take me a while to like really get my chemistry with it, and because like people think chemistry comes from like being around people. Like, nah, you got to really hone into what you want to talk about too. That's hard. Like, I'm gonna be honest, man, it's hard as shit to do that shit. I'm not gonna lie, man, it's really hard.
So the one thing I found the most difficult thing to do is I'm more of a interview style. So my podcast is more, I feel more at peace when I'm talking to people. So this is what I do for a living anyway. I talk to people for a living every day. So I feel more at ease when I'm having a conversation with somebody in front of me than I would be by myself. The episodes that I've actually talked to people, those episodes have gotten more downloads than the episodes that I've done by myself. That's just my style. I prefer to do it that way because I believe you get more of a genuine conversation with somebody when you can see them face to face, you know what I mean? Or you can, like right now when we're having on the video chat, because if you do it like your style, you've been doing it for 2 years. So, when you get on that podcast, you know what you want to talk about already. It's hard coming up with content and people don't realize that, man. Everybody goes, it's easy to do a podcast.
Don't ever let somebody tell you that. It is not. It is not. Because like I said, the hardest thing about doing a podcast is what are you going to talk about?
Right.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing of podcast. It's like, what are you going to talk about? Because it could go so many other ways. You could start talking about sports and end up talking about music. You can go talk about music, talk about what's happening in politics. It could go so many ways. So that's the first thing you have to learn is like, what am I going to talk about? What is my podcast? And at the end of the day, for me, it's been my mental health. That's been my main thing. It's like, I know people out here that are going to be struggling with mental health. I mean, 2020 put a lot of people in some really bad positions with their mental health. And my thing is always been is I can't talk to anybody. I can just talk to my therapist. I can talk to my psychiatrist, but I can't talk to my family. Even though we all deal with mental health, we all have different, trials and tribulations with it. So nobody's path is the same. I don't know where people forgot that for some apparent reason. They forgot that nobody's path is the same, and what makes everybody think that mental health is the same. How you look at things is completely different. How I look at things. So
yeah, and for me it's the same thing. So for me, this is therapy for me too, because it lets me get out some of the things that I want to say to people that I wouldn't normally be able to say. And like I said, for me, I always preface everything saying this is my opinion and my opinion only. I'm not speaking for an entire generation.
That's it. That's all you got to. To me, I think that kind of, we're forgetting how opinions sound.
Mm-hmm.
We're forgetting that. That's the core of life. It's my goddamn opinion. Stop taking it fucking serious. It's my goddamn opinion. I'm not telling you to take it serious. I'm not telling you to not take it serious. I'm just saying this is how I feel.
But I think we gotten to the point now where everybody's offended about everything you do. If you say something
Everything.
wrong, like I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, but I can sit there and hold a conversation with Republican or Democrat about issues without arguing, without fighting with them. We just agree to disagree. It's just simple as that. But some people get offended, and first thing they want to do is just come out with the claws. And you know, uh, people who are not intelligent enough to hold conversations, the first thing they do is start slandering. That's the first thing they start doing because they can't conceptualize and make a proper conversation about what's going on and think internally to come out with something that's going to be able to be understood by everybody. What they come out with is blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's it. Their point and their point only. You're an idiot because you don't value their point. But that's not how it should be. So with everything that's been going on out here, and I normally don't talk about politics, but the reason I ask is right now, man, this country is like this country is in disarray right now. Everything going on with COVID, you know what I mean? The Trump supporters, the Biden supporters, everybody's still at claws with each other. What do you think about the racial climate in the country right now with everything that's going on? With celebrations of Juneteenth that just passed. Um, everybody wants to be inclusive and diverse, but it's not necessarily the truth.
Um, Me personally, it's funny that you brought this up because I was thinking about this in the shower when I was getting out the shower. I was like, this is ironic. So I was literally talking to myself about this in the shower. I was like, that's the problem with this world. See, they don't understand this. Government officials go to these White House and they go to the Senate and they go to these Republicans and all this shit. You don't realize they're still getting paid. Like that's a job still.
Mhm.
Like they're representing their state, get it. But that's a job they're doing. And the more and more they go do that shit, the more they get humbled. When they're telling us in a state, just vote for me. I'm gonna go to the White House and I'm gonna bring the president back here, and they're gonna see what's happening in our neighborhoods. And they're gonna clean all this shit up. And then they get to the White House, then they go to Washington, and they get humbled. They can't do that shit.
No,
They can't do this, and they can't do that. Wait, I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, what can I do? You shut the fuck up and vote.
they
Like
do
you can
that.
vote for some. It really does feel like it's like you remember school, like school. It feels like everybody's got to raise their hand to have an opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember when the teacher used to be like,
Hmm.
raise your hand if you got something to say. That's kind of how I feel, like when it comes to this government. So when they tell us this is the people that's not really doing anything for us, it's like y'all get paid,
Right. But I
but
think a
y'all
lot.
tell the
I think a
but
lot
y'all
of
tell
the.
the people,
Oh, go
y'all the
ahead.
people, y'all tell the people, you tell the people that it's them that's holding us back. It's them that's stopping us.
Mm,
The people don't have no other thought process other than, well, fuck them. Like they holding me back. Why they holding
yeah.
me back? What I do to them? Well, fuck them. And that's the problem. It creates the rift. They have created such a rift in this country. The government has that is going to be hard to get out of because y'all don't want to admit when it's race happening in the country, but yet um that's what you guys put the fear of us in. Like they put the fear of race in us.
So what I think too is when these politicians come in, babyface, green, they have aspirations of changing the world and doing the things that they do. But then when they
Mm.
get to Washington, they get, a reality check gets smacked in the face.
They get
So
humbled.
so what they do, not even humble, they assimilate. So what they do is they go, hey,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be here, I might as well get rich off being here. If I'm not gonna be able to make any true changes, I might as well make money off of it. And that's what
Yep.
most of them do. If you notice, a politician will go in not a millionaire, but when they come out of office, they're a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
You see the
Yeah.
ironic, the irony of that. You go in
Yeah.
not a millionaire, but you leave out as a multimillionaire. But you
Yep.
came in as a politician trying to change things, and you didn't change anything.
You did change something. Your pocketbooks.
This is true. You did change your pocketbook. Yeah,
You changed your pocketbooks.
this is
That's it.
true. So let me ask you a question. So you've been doing this for how long now?
In September 19th will be 2 years.
So for you, what has been the biggest pain point, the biggest struggle that you've had with doing your podcast on a consistent basis?
Damn. Well,
I ask hard hitting questions, man.
Nah. It's not because it's two different answers. There's two different answers.
Give them both.
Uh, I'm gonna go with me personally. Personally, it's when I get depressed. I have moments of depression or anxiety,
Mhm.
or I feel like I don't feel like I'm saying enough, or I feel like I'm talking about myself too much, or I'm talking about um, I can just feel like nobody's gonna be listening. So I'm just like, why am I doing it? It gets to that point, I'm self doubt. It sucks. It's the fucking worst. Self doubt, man.
I know the
Uh,
feeling.
the, yeah, man. The second reason is living conditions. It's like I don't live by myself, so that's the second thing. So I have to watch. I gotta make sure nothing is haywire or anything around me, so I could get the perfect, not perfect, nothing's perfect, but get the best sound I can get. The
Right.
quality of it. I want to make sure y'all hear my words and understand when you see my videos, you see my face, and it's not some shit going on behind me or so. That's the main thing. I think that those are the two reasons, man. I think when you're doing a podcast, you gotta really understand the core of what you want to, like I said earlier, like what you want to say after you say it, you got to stand by it too. I think that goes back to opinions. A lot of people get shooken after their opinion is out there. It's like, no, you said it for a reason. Like, if that's how you was feeling, why the fuck would you change it now? It makes no sense.
Well, but that's why it's an opinion. You can always change an opinion. You can always change your
But
view on something.
yeah, that's true. But I think the problem with nowadays is I think people mean what they say, but they're so afraid that people are gonna backlash it.
Hmm.
So they change the shit mid sentence. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you didn't even get 2 days to let it cool out and let it see
Yeah.
what happens.
Because what it
You,
is they're afraid of cancel culture. That's what it comes down to.
and you gotta get the fuck out of that mindset. And I got a real. I've been going at cancel culture. I hate cancel culture. I fucking hate it. Oh my god, I hate that shit
It's
so
cancel
much.
culture. It's like me with like here. I can one up you. I'm married and I got 5 kids, man. We're all ranging from teenagers to a 6-year old. So I'm not an empty house either. So I'm like you. I have to find certain areas. So I put everything in my actual bedroom, set everything up so I'm able to do the podcast. And here, the kids are always on the other side of the house, so it's easier for me to do this now. So, but before it wasn't like that. I literally have to send them outside. You know what I mean? And so I'm able to record. Before I wasn't doing video, it was all vocal,
Podcast, yeah,
strictly vocal podcast. But the problem is, and then my equipment is great. Like I use Personas for my equipment. But the problem is that I don't. People need to see you. They can hear your
yes,
voice.
yes.
They can
I
hear your
learned
voice,
that.
but if they're not seeing you, it's different. So what I do is like this conversation that we're having right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the video. I'm going to throw it on my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to take this and put this in my Studio One, and then I'm going to trim it down and put it up on all the podcast stations that I have. And I think that's the easiest way. I like doing the video now because I like seeing people. I like being visual. You know what I mean?
I literally just said that in a video. I literally was like, if you don't start doing videos, the voice could carry, but if people don't know the face, it's gonna be like, well, yeah, he's saying a lot of shit, but I don't know what he look like. It's like,
Yeah, and
if
I
you,
started and I started doing TikTok videos now, which that was one of the things I didn't want to do, but that TikToks is just as much you get more and I know it's crazy, but you get more airplay, you get more views on TikTok than you would on YouTube. You understand where I'm coming from? Which is weird. Like
yeah,
I one video I posted got 631 views compared to some of my videos on YouTube's only getting 5 or 6 views. You understand what I mean? So you can post videos and get seen. Like my downloads are there for the podcast itself. I'm getting people to download the podcast, but as far as the video that hasn't, YouTube is if you want old school OG YouTube, it is hard to build a following on YouTube, man.
yeah, it is, it is. I don't want no more fucking social media sites. The whole thing. I'm 27 and I'm like, man, fuck TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm 27 and I'm like, man, if I gotta get TikTok, it's time to quit.
But I tell you what, but you got to take advantage of all the social media outlets you can take advantage of, though,
Yeah,
man.
man. I just got rid of Twitter. So like I was using Twitter like just to promote shit, but then I got to a point where it was just like, why am I using this? like, And maybe it's me because I'm getting older. I grew up literally in the social media era. Like I
Mhm.
literally remember when MySpace first dropped. I remember when Facebook came out. I remember when motherfuckers used to tell me, you know this thing called Facebook? The fuck is a Facebook? Like I remember that moment. I remember when YouTube came out. I remember all of these moments. I remember this shit. It's crazy to now be damn near into my 30s and now it's new social media sites that's kind of like the new way of living. It's crazy to me. Like 10-second videos are fucking killing the game. Like
Well,
it's fucking nuts.
it can be more than 10 seconds now. You can do like 2 minute videos. You can do long videos on there.
Yeah,
But like with Facebook, like you with Twitter is me with Facebook. Like I had a Facebook fan page and all that. Like I'm not getting like it feels like it's a waste of time on Facebook anymore. Even though there's like 3 billion people on Facebook, unless you're paying for ads, you know what I mean. You're not
I'm
going to
not paying
reach
for them.
people, right? You're not
Yeah, I'm
paying
not.
for ads. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a page, but I got my own page, but it's linked to my Instagram. So anytime I drop something, it goes straight to Facebook. So I don't really have
right.
to do a lot.
Yeah. So I see you all. You're on Instagram a lot. That's basically your biggest medium right now that you use.
Yeah, man. That's the space right now, man.
So is that the only media outlet that you're using besides the Facebook, which is linked? So you got rid of Twitter. So do you have any other
I,
Tumblr? Do you use any other sites?
I have a YouTube channel, same as my show. So I just do my shows. I do my videos and put my videos on YouTube.
Hmm.
Full videos. I don't cut nothing out. I don't clip it. Nothing. I just go like
Just go raw.
the
So do you
20.
do live? You do live on YouTube as well or no?
I'm starting to think about doing lives. I gotta do a live, man. I gotta start getting back into a live. I tried to do one once and it just I don't know. I felt weird about it. I don't know. My biggest thing again goes to self doubt. Who's watching?
Right.
And I think that I don't know, that kind of fucks with my mind a little bit. Even though I don't care, I care. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't care, but I care. You know what I'm saying? Because I care about what I'm doing, and I care. I feel like if I say the right things, nobody's gonna hear it and nobody's gonna see it because
Record it while you're doing live.
yeah,
Record it. You can always record it
yeah,
while you're doing live. That way, you know you can later on drop it back on video after the live is done. Like
yeah, man,
Man Cave. Remember the conversation that we were
yeah,
all having? He
yeah,
recorded it and he dropped it on the IG. So that's
yeah.
something you can do as well. I mean, self doubt's gonna be in everybody's mind, man. Look, I'm gonna be 42 years old this year. I just started this podcast game back in December. This is new to me. Like you're my 17th episode right now. Okay. So mine's gonna be an evergreen podcast. I don't know if I'm doing seasons or I'm just gonna keep going. You know what I mean? So I'm still trying to figure that stuff out. If I hit December, that's December 31st will be 1 year, do my 1 year episode and then take a break, for a couple of weeks before I go back up. But in the age of social media, if you stop promoting, people will forget
That,
about you.
yeah, they think you're done. They think you quit. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the crazy part, right? It's like back in the day, you could take a break and get your mind right and heal and come back with some content that people would understand, truly take as like, oh, you just need to go take a break. Okay, cool. I can understand that. And like my biggest problem with like when I see people on social media, like celebs and shit, be like, I'm gonna take a break from social media today. It's like, okay, what are you taking a break from social media for? Are you trying to promote your album, promote a single? What are you trying to do?
Right, but why would you go on social media to say you're taking a break from social media?
Like that makes no sense. Just fucking leave.
That's just you looking for attention for people to go,
You're
oh, why
trying
are
to
you
get it.
leaving? They're
That's
trying to get attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to get people to get back on
Yeah.
you and be like, oh, why would you
Yeah. It's an
leave?
attention grab. Yeah. That's exactly what that is.
And I truly feel like I used to do that same shit, but now I'm starting to realize like if I need a break, motherfucker, I'm gonna just break.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hear shit until I come
Yeah.
back. Like,
So
like,
I'm a 9 to 5 guy. So I have a 9 to 5 job. And then man, I tell you what, the hardest part has been getting people to come on. Honestly, people flake a lot more than you think they would. I mean, people are
no, no, I totally will understand that. I completely understand.
people are very flaky. Hey, yeah, I'll come on the show. Then when you book them, they go, oh,
I got shit to do. Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean? So like
I didn't know this came up today. Like,
right, we had to reschedule, but I had a legit reason. You know what I mean? I got a house full of
I
kids.
and I 100% understood that.
So, but then we rescheduled it for today, and we're on here doing what we said we were gonna do. I just don't like people who flake. If you're gonna come on the show, be legit about it. Tell me, hey, I'm coming on. If you're not sure about it, just say you're not sure about it. Don't commit to something that you're not gonna come on. So,
and that's another reason why I haven't done interviews, because I feel like if I say I want to interview you, I want to interview you.
right,
And if you tell me, I got something to do, can we reschedule it? Can we reschedule it for some later? It's like, yeah, we will reschedule it, and I'm never gonna call you back ever again.
yeah,
Like, I don't have time for that shit. I said, let's do it right now. Let's get it over and done with. Because my thing is this: I feel like if I want to interview you, I see something in you.
right. And that's how I am. Like with me, like I have an interview coming up this weekend with a group of hip hop artists from Cleveland. So I'll ask you 3 times. So the first time I'm going to ask you when you coming on the show. You give me an answer saying couple weeks, I'll tag you. Hey, it's been a couple weeks. You coming on the show? And then when they say yeah, they'll say next week. So last time I ask you, are you gonna come on the show? And they say yeah, this date. So I'll put that date in. If you're not on the show, we're not coming to ask you anymore. So
I'm done. Yeah,
I'm done with you. But
I'm with.
I'll give you the three
I,
strikes and out type deal. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to pressure you to come on the show. If you really want to come on the show, you're gonna come on the show.
and by the way, it's helping you.
Right.
It's helping you.
Right.
I'm asking you. I'm helping you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the craziest shit. I don't understand that. Like, I'm helping you. I'm trying
Yeah.
to get you more people to fuck with you.
Right.
I don't
And
get
that's
it.
what it comes down to. We're just trying to, we're trying to, like me, my podcast is just letting voices be heard, up and comers and stuff. So I'm trying to get you out there. I'm helping you, you're helping me. But some people think that this mentality where they feel like they gotta do everything on their own. Like that's not how, life don't work. Cooperation and collaboration is the way to go with stuff, man.
I I feel like when you're young, you feel that way. It's like nobody else gonna help me. Well, fuck it, I do it myself.
Right.
And it's hard to get your ass out of it. I've been in that mindset for a while, but I think I'm gonna be honest. The love I've been getting from the podcast community has opened me up to being like, not everybody's bad.
Right.
There's genuine ass people that actually want to fucking help. And when you told me, "Hey, B, man, I want to do a podcast," which I'm in. Just send
Yeah.
me the date. I had to hit you back because I think you forgot. I had to hit you
Yeah.
back.
No,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
I
man,
mean, let me tell
yeah,
you,
I had to hit
with
you.
with the 9 to 5 stuff, man, it gets
Yeah,
crazy,
man.
man. It's like I do the dad thing when I get home, man. I cook, what I'm saying, get the little ones they bath. And I got to get in the mindset. It's difficult sometimes, man. So I got to find time. Like on the weekends is the best time for me to record podcasts. Like my podcast this weekend I'm recording is on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I gotta work around their schedules. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I'm getting them on the show to be able to talk to them. So I want to make them feel comfortable enough to come on. But for you, man, you're putting out normally 2 shows a week. Like, how do you get in that mind frame? Like, it's difficult enough for me just to get one show out there. How do you manage to get 2 shows done a week and put it out there, man?
It's crazy. I got so much shit bottled up. That's the best thing I tell you. My mind, I'm an overthinker. And I'm starting to realize that's my sign. I'm an Aquarius, so we overthink. So if I don't say something, I used to be the kid that never said shit.
Right.
I just used to observe. I used to watch. I used to watch every little thing. And when I did have an opinion, people would take it and try to flip it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so I got tired of that shit. And I'm like, when I say something, you gonna hear it. Now, if you want to have a conversation afterwards, all right, we got a conversation afterwards. But I'm not changing what the fuck I said. I said it for a reason.
So typically, how do you prepare for this? You just jump on and then you just start talking what comes out. It just starts flowing out of yourself, or you're already prepping in your head what you're gonna say before you get on. That way, when you hit record, boom, it just starts flowing out of you.
Some days, yes. Some days it's very easy to go. Bow. It's ready to go. It's easy to go. Free flowing, go. And then some days, struggle. I'm not gonna lie, because I do overthink. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I could get on a video and completely forget the fuck I was trying to say, or I could do a podcast and be talking in riddles for like the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, oh shit, where am I going with this? And I even tell myself like, where the fuck are you going with this? And it clicked. It's the weirdest shit. Like, where the fuck are you going with this, bro? We had a whole mindset. And
Right.
it's just like, where are you going with this? And it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It does get to the point where you don't want to over assert yourself. You
Mhm.
don't want to over fucking think yourself. And yeah, I mean, I heard what you said when you said, when do you find the time to kind of like take the break?
Mhm.
And that's kind of how I feel right now. It's like eventually I'm going to go into my season 3. I'm trying to debate it if it's going to happen in September or if it's going to happen at the end of the year. Depends, because like I said, I do 2 episodes this week. I'm just doing 1, but that's also because I have family down
What is the
here.
length of your season though? How
My
many
length for
episodes
my
per season? This is your 3rd season. How many episodes per season?
well, this is my second season. But that's what I'm trying to debate. I'm trying to see how long I could get it. I think I don't want to go too far because I think I still need. But my thing is this: when you name a show after yourself is the topic. So
Right.
anytime you can find inspiration from any and everything. So I think for me, when I do in this season, I want to do it in 50. I want to do it in 50, and I don't know when I'm gonna get to 50,
Mhm.
but that's the goal is 50 episodes because I think my first season I had split the podcast in 2 because I started on Speaker, the Speaker app, and then I had found out about Anchor, and I started doing it on Anchor. So I split season 1 into like half. So yeah, so season 2 is all been on Anchor. So I'm trying to figure it out. But 50 is the goal. Is the goal, and I'm at 28 right now. So
I'm
no
gonna
more
put you.
episodes.
I'm gonna put you hip. I'm gonna put you hip. I'm gonna put you hip to a new one. So Red Circle is the one that I use, and Red Circle is free. You can move over your content, and they'll put you on everything. I'm literally on everything, even Pandora. My podcast is available. So check Red Circle out. Shout out to Red Circle. They really care about podcasters. They'll give you an opportunity to monetize your podcast as well. There's You can collab with other people like-minded like you on the show to promote your stuff. So check out Red Circle when you get a chance, man, and compare the two. Red Circle's really the place to be, and you don't have to pay for Red Circle. It's free for you to use. It's really easy. It's really easy to upload your stuff in there. You just have to when you have to put the request in though to get on all these other streaming sites for the podcast. So, and I know you set that up with Anchor, but just check them out, man. Look at what they have to offer. I think you'll like them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Anchor too, you get paid. So eventually, you're gonna get paid from Anchor. But do they do that Red Circle, or they
Yeah,
just
yeah. You can monetize your podcast. You have to reach a certain amount of downloads to do that,
okay,
but they
okay,
monetize your podcast for you too. So it's
okay.
just a thought, man. Just check it out.
I've been looking for a new podcast app. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been looking for it because I like Anchor, but it's kind of like it takes too long. I'm not gonna lie. Like you can't really see who really is listening to your shit.
Right,
It's just like they give you like 4 listeners. Okay, like what else? Like I'm trying to see who is trying to like
right.
where's the content.
And Red Circle does a really good job of doing that. They'll show you where all your downloads are coming from. They'll show
Yeah,
you where if it's coming from iOS, if it's coming from the computer, if it's coming from an iPhone, an Android. It shows you where your downloads and who's listening on what platform. So then that way you can work your podcast around that to make things easier for you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
just check them out when you get a chance. That's all.
yeah. I might start doing that with season 3. I might switch it up and go season 3 and do Red Circle. All
Yeah,
right, man.
just check it out when
Thank
you
you
get
for
it. Yeah, hey, no problem, man. Listen.
that.
My thing is I'm trying to help as many people as I can the same way that people are trying to help me. But the problem is sometimes you want to bring everybody to the table, but sometimes you just can't, man. Because people don't want to rise with you. They just don't.
Boy, hey man, I literally put that on social media last night. I literally said that as a social media. You follow me, man. I literally said,
Yeah, I see all the posts you be putting. Yeah, man.
yeah, man. I said, we could have a family at the table. Stop trying to debate who the fuck bringing what into the table. As long as we at the table and we all eating, that's all that fucking matters.
Yeah, and if you saw, I posted something on social today talking about that stop expecting stuff from other people. You gotta you gotta get your own food, but you gotta be careful who sits with you because when you turn your back, they'll try to snatch your plate from you. You know what I mean? So it's just
Stop.
facts.
Oh, fudge is snatching your plate. They try to take your head off. Put your fucking head on the plate.
But I just think some folks don't know how to collab, man. Some folks still have this mentality where they feel like they have to do things on their own. They want to make it on their own, but there's no shames in opening doors for people, man. You know what I mean? That's how people become successful. That's how we start making money. There's 6 billion people on the planet. There is a listener for everyone. Trust me on that. There's money to be made. Stop trying to act like we can't work together to get this money, man.
Man. Oh, you taking my quotes? Are you taking my quotes, man? Like, Lord, Lord, Lord. I literally, this is my goal out of doing this podcast. I don't want to be in front of the camera forever. I want to be behind it. That's been my whole goal. I was like, well, fuck it. If I gotta be in front of it for right now, I'm gonna just do what I gotta do. But my goal is to be behind it. To create my own podcast network where there's all types of unique voices. If you need women advice, you got women on there that's really
Hmm.
out here talking about that shit. If you got if you want to talk about politics, all right, we got politics, we got sports, we got business, we got all these podcasts, and you don't have to just continue to listen to one. And I think that's the goal for me. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to feel like when I say this is a podcast that I know and I trust, and with this unique voice, y'all don't question it. You just go, all right, well, since he said it, shit, let's go listen to it. Like, 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 I want that type of confidence in my shit. Like, I want people to be like, well, since he said it, let's go listen to it.
Yeah,
Like,
I have my own production company. I have my own production company as well. But it's hard to find people who like minded that want to because everybody thinks they want to get paid.
everybody thinks they're the boss.
Everybody
It's
thinks they're the
hard.
boss. Everybody
It's
wants to get paid right
hard, man.
away, and that's not how you build something, man. So you got to make
I,
sacrifices, and people don't understand
man,
that.
I, it's not just sacrifices. Nobody gives a fuck about the opportunity no more. They want the money. They don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about the opportunity.
yeah, this is true.
They look past the opportunity so fucking much because it don't pay them. If they offering you a chance to go work at a radio station and you talking about and they telling you, well, you're probably not gonna get paid right now. You gotta learn the station, you gotta learn this. But you're like, well, I'm working at this, clothing store and I'm getting paid. All right, I'm gonna just at the clothing store. But your dream has been to be on radio.
Yeah, but at the same time, my brother, let me play devil's advocate with you. At the same
Go
time,
ahead, man.
you gotta eat, bro. You gotta eat. If that radio station ain't paying you at least a stipend and something to get by, it ain't gonna work. I don't care how your dream is. If you can't put food on the table and
Yeah,
pay your bills,
but on top of that, if they are paying you, but it's not like you're getting paid now. If they're paying you and you get an opportunity, but it's not the money you're getting right now, would you not
mm,
still take that job?
I would prepare for it. I would make sure I have something in my savings set aside for that to make up the difference of what I'm losing. You know what I mean? But for that kind of opportunity, yeah, like my dream is like yours, man. I've always wanted to since I remember I'm 40, gonna be 42. I've always wanted to be behind the camera. I always wanted to be direct. I always wanted to. This is why I started my own production company. This is what I wanted to do for the longest time. But finding people who are willing to take that step with you, willing to sacrifice. Even when I'm my younger days, man, that was difficult to do because people want. This is a microwave generation, bro. Everybody wants everything now. Nobody wants to build it. If they can't make money off it now, they don't want to have a conversation about it.
People will sacrifice a perfectly great long term situation for right now. They'll
It's crazy.
sacrifice it. They will take the right now because they know they're getting the money for it. Then for the long term situation, the long term situation is going to be more money, ownership, business, everything. But you said, nah, I'll take the money.
One of the sayings that I say and I'll stick to it to this day is money should not be our master, it should be our servant. It should be serving us, it shouldn't be ruling us. And a lot of people have that mentality that the money's the master.
it's it's like it's funny. I was watching Chris Rock earlier today on YouTube, and he was like, Everybody hates America because of our religion, a religion of money. We worship money. It's like y'all take God away from schools, take God away from this, but yet on the money it said God we trust. It's
Yeah. I mean,
like
don't get me wrong, you need to eat people, and I get it. I get it, man. I work, I got a family support. I get it.
and that's my whole thing. If you don't really have like a family, like if you like, that's all I always say. Now, if you got kids and you got a family you got to provide for, then go do what you got to do.
Right.
Take the money. I 100% will understand that. But if you just getting out of college and you ain't got no motherfucking person on, like you ain't got nobody else but just your motherfucking self, you better take that fucking opportunity. Stop bullshitting with yourself. You only in your 20s. You better get your shit. Better take that
Yeah.
opportunity. Like shit, fuck that. Take it now. Get it out the way, man. Because eventually all that hard work is like me now, like with the podcast. Like I don't have anybody, but if somebody one day says, "Hey, I want to come on there and help you, edit videos and help you with your podcast." All right, fuck, let's do it. like,
So this
like to
there's
me,
there's a really good site too. If you need help with any of that stuff, it's called Fiverr. You can go out there and you put in what you need
you,
done,
yeah,
and
you
they
had to
can
send
do
me
that
that.
stuff for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's called
You had to send me that name. You go ahead and send me that
Yeah,
name.
it's
I'm
called
all right.
Fiverr. You can go on there and you can put in you can look for a specific thing you need done. If you need editing, you can put a bid in. They'll show you who's available and what they're charging. So, you know what I mean? If you need
Mm,
promotion, podcast promotion, they can promote for you. The prop podcast promotion was a little sketchy, but you got people on there that can do art for you. You got people on there that can edit videos for you, all that stuff. So just go on. I'll shoot you the link for that, man. But check it out. It's pretty affordable. A lot of these people are really skilled. Shout out to Fiverr, no sponsor, but just shouting them out because
mm.
they they offer some really good stuff on there. So I'm looking into doing some of that stuff myself because this is starting to get a um, little more difficult right now because I'm trying to balance everything, work life, family,
Yeah.
podcast. So me and my wife are the only ones, she's the one who helps me out with the social media stuff, posting, videos and taking snapshots and all that stuff for me. And then I'm working on a clothing line as well, which is, let me tell you, it's been the biggest pain in the behind because once you start, and then I have to put it down because I have to concentrate on something else, hard to pick it back up. And I have a
Mm.
vision as to what I want to do. So it's and it's something I'm working on that's near and dear to me. And obviously, you have to. It can be popping for a little while, but then you have to change it up because then people get tired of wearing the same stuff. They want stuff that's new. So you think of one idea, you get it out there, but then you immediately have to start thinking of something else because if you don't, 6 months, nobody's gonna wear your stuff anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got shirts for my stuff too, but I'm starting to really now put into. I'm probably gonna hit up somebody and try to see if I can start doing like not clothes but like headphones and some shit because that is fucking difficult. Like clothing is fucking hard to
Yeah,
fucking master
yeah.
because it's just like you just said. You gotta really be on that shit. You gotta really be on it, and I ain't got no time for that shit. I'm be honest. Like I just, just like, cause you gotta promote it like damn near every day to
Constantly,
get
every day.
people every fucking day. And I ain't got that time, man. I like I do what I do. I do my podcast, man. I do my videos, and then I like to chill. I'm not trying to do all this extra shit. And the easiest thing about promoting my shit is like just go to Instagram stories, go to tap the words and put the words in, and then put it right back on everybody's page, and go Facebook, Instagram, and I'm back out on I'm back to doing what the fuck I was doing in the beginning. Nothing.
So this is not really like a job for you, man. You really enjoy doing the podcast stuff. You just don't like doing you're not really fan of the media side of it mostly, right? Because you're only really on IG and you're only promoting your stuff really on there and it links to Facebook, but you're not really out there. You're like essentially if they're gonna listen to you, they're gonna listen to you whether they like you. If they don't like you, they're not gonna listen to you basically.
Yeah, I it's hard to. My biggest fear is getting successful
Hmm.
and forgetting who I am, forgetting my core, forgetting who I am as at the core. That's my biggest fear. Reason why is because I've seen so many people get that chance and they forget who the fuck they are.
So I will tell you this, and I stick to this forever and a day. Money doesn't change you. Money just makes you who you are.
That's the same shit I feel. I feel like, but it don't only change you, it changed the fucking people around
Oh
you.
yeah, of course.
It changed them so well. You used to couldn't afford this, but now you got the money. You might as well pay for it. It's like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? Is that- and that's my biggest fear too. It's just like I know I'm good with money. I'm not doing anything stupid. My biggest dream is to retire my parents, buy them a house, buy me some shit, buy me a car, buy me a house, and then buy me a studio, really, and start putting all my money towards my podcast network. And that
Yeah.
will get me started into doing going behind the scenes.
So I tell people all this all the time. Sometimes it's better to be more successful later on in life than it is early. I've known cats in their teens and in their 20s that burn out by the time they're 30 and 40. And I know people who
Mm-hmm.
become successful in their 40s and 50s and enjoy it even more because they avoid a lot of the mistakes they would have made at a younger age. You know what I mean? So I think for
They let
me,
life hit them.
right. And for me, this is where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I'm at that point now where I know where I need to be and I know where I need to work on. It's just continue. This is not a 90-second race. I'm not trying to outrun anybody. If I have to build this like at a snail pace, I have to build it at a snail pace, man. I'm not rushing for anybody. You know what I mean?
Hey man, the first thing you told me is everybody's looking at my podcast, everybody's doing this. At the end of the day, bro, I move at my pace.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like I'm getting people trying to do sponsorships and stuff with me, being influencers for their brands and stuff, bro. I would do it, but at the same time, I just don't have the energy
Yeah.
to because like I said, man, I don't ever want my podcast to feel like a fucking job. I wanted to feel like I love getting up and doing this. Like you asked me, like, well, how could you do 2 episodes in a week,
Yeah.
four podcast videos? Because I love what I do.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Mm.
When it stops being fun, when it stops being enjoyable, that's when the time to exit left, man. It's time to get the fuck. It's not it because you're not about to force me to now do what the fuck I was doing when I loved it.
So my anxiety comes in. I'll tell you when my anxiety comes in when it comes to doing podcasts. Since you've been doing this longer than me, my anxiety comes in when I'm not talking to somebody. So you're more comfortable on the mic by yourself than I am. So when I'm on the mic by myself and it drives my wife absolutely bonkers, I'll start recording something. And if I don't like it, I won't edit it. I'll completely delete it and start from the
Delete
beginning.
it. Delete
Completely.
it. Mm-hmm.
Start deleting it from the beginning, start again. I can get 10 minutes in. If I don't like the way it sounds, I'm deleting that, starting again. I spent 5 hours one time in the room trying to get this down correctly for a 30-minute episode. 5 hours recording and re-recording because it wasn't the way I wanted. That's where my anxiety comes in when it comes to recording podcasts by myself. I'm more comfortable in front of people. I'm more comfortable in front of a camera talking to people or next to somebody on a mic.
This you've been giving me advice, now I'm gonna give you some. Record it by yourself. Record it by yourself and sit with it. I'm not saying put it out. Record it
Mm-hmm.
because that's the same shit I had when I started doing videos. I was like, I don't think nobody want to see my face. Look at my hair. Like I don't look like some guy that a lot of people would even go towards and
Mm-hmm.
listen to. Like I'm like, if you really get to know me, I'm really like awkward. I'm like
Everybody's awkward, man.
yeah, I stay to myself. I don't really got time to be around people. And that's another reason why I don't want to be famous because successful because it's like I don't really like being around people like that. You're not gonna call me to come do something if I physically can't control the guest list. Like if I can't control the guest list, then I'm not coming to do that shit. But because my anxiety it gets that's the biggest thing about anxiety to me. But for you in particular, man, I think that when you do something by yourself, I think because you know you need somebody, because that's your, I think you said it's your job, right?
That's my, yeah, yeah.
Your job is talking to people.
Yeah, every day, all day.
That right there should make you want to talk to people less. It's your job, right? It's your
Yeah, but
job. I think.
I don't look at it as a job. So I did security for 12 years. So
Okay.
I've been did security for 12 years. I talked to people for 12 years, and then I got into finance. So I work in the financial world right now. So I talk to people every day on a daily basis. So I enjoy talking. I enjoy educating younger kids. I enjoy educating teens. So anytime my company has an event, I'm there with bells on. Like I love
Mhm.
mingling, meeting people,
Yeah,
talking to people. I enjoy that stuff. It's just when I'm in the room by myself doing this stuff, it's not the same to me. I don't have that same kind of energy. And I'll drag too, man. I'll tell my wife, I don't want to do this today. Like I really don't. Like if I get a guest, man, I'm up. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Let's have a
yeah, man.
conversation. Let's dig in. I just can't
Yeah,
do the.
man.
It's hard for me just to do the sitting in a room with nobody around talking. Basically talking to myself.
It's, but I'm gonna tell you, man, you gotta find a piece for that. Because I think eventually, yeah, you can do your podcast, but eventually people are gonna be asking, okay, what do you sound like by yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do an episode by yourself and be like, holy shit, I can do this by myself. I don't always need to reach out to somebody.
yeah,
I can do this by myself. I can hone it. And that actually helps you hone in your skills. So when you finally do talk to people, you got a different level of understanding of how they created their shit and how they pushed it and how they kept doing. Like you said, you just started doing your podcast in December. I still haven't done the interview, like for my podcast, because I feel like if I was meant to do that, I'd do it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah.
if I really am like leaning towards let's go work with somebody, like right now I'm doing a podcast. Right now, starting a new podcast. We got to get our chemistry down. Like it's pretty good. It's pretty cool, but it's still it's only been 2 episodes, so we got to get our chemistry down. We
It
all
takes
gotta. We all yeah. It
takes
takes a while.
practice. It takes a while, man.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with doing a solo podcast. It takes a while.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like your own voice. That's what it sounds like. You saying like I don't like my voice.
No, I don't
Like I
like.
don't
I
like.
don't listen to anything. I'm gonna be keep it 100 with you, and I'm not. I'm the first one to tell you. I don't listen to my work. I do it and I put it out there. I have other people listen to it. People tell me all the time. Like I got one guy who's an avid listener. He tells me all the time, man, that was a great podcast. Good job on that. I get complimented on my stuff, but I don't listen to my own podcast. Like it's on
I don't
YouTube, and
either.
I hate watching my own videos. Like I really
I
do.
don't either. At the same thing. I don't put. I put my videos on YouTube and then I go about my business. But that the same thing. Like I don't. After I do a podcast, I don't listen to that shit. I don't really listen to it. The
Right.
reason why though, for me personally, is because again, it goes back to what I've been saying. I said what I said. I already know what I said. I don't need to rehash it. I already said what I said. The only time I need to go back and listen to it if I didn't say the same shit over. That's it.
And the reason I don't like listening to it because then you go, damn, I shouldn't have said that, or damn, I could have said that better, or damn,
That's
this
in
is
your mind.
it's in
That's
your
your
mind. Yeah.
mind playing tricks on you. See, that's the reason. I'm telling you right now. I said what the fuck I said. I am
Yeah.
not going back to rehash it. Now, if I offended somebody, all right, I'll talk about it next time. But other than that, nobody really listen to this shit. I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
Like,
But
until somebody come to me and be like, yo, that really hurt my feelings. All right, then I'll think about it. But other than that, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's what it
so
is.
so vice versa. So some advice for you. For somebody who doesn't do interviews, you can hold an interview with somebody, man. You just don't realize it. You can keep a conversation. We've been on here
Oh
for
no,
almost an hour.
yeah, man, I know I could do it. It's just
You just don't
I
have the
think
energy.
that is. I think because with an interview, you gotta prep for it, right? You gotta like write questions. You gotta, and me, I'm a spur of the moment in podcast. Like, like you said, like how do you talk about things? Sometimes it just comes out the fucking dome. Like I just be sitting in my room like, all right, I need to say something, and I just say it like on my podcast. It's literally like that. I take in the weekends I don't do shit. At the Friday, like this week I did all my videos already, but usually Saturday Sunday I'm chilling and I'm around shit that I'm usually around. Sleep, maybe, probably playing a game, probably watching TV. And I get back on Monday and I do the podcast. And then I get back on Wednesday and I do a podcast. But in the meantime, I'm doing videos. The reason why is because I think when I am going to do, whenever I do decide to do interviews, I think I wanted to be free flowing. I don't want to have to keep asking this person questions. I just want them to be like, and if I do ask a question, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go back to that for a second. You said da 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 da. How does da 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 feel? Because I feel like to make it 100% feel like me, we got to talk about mental health. We got to talk about
Yeah.
how your journey has gotten you to where you're at today. Because I feel like it's empty promises and it's an empty conversation if we don't talk about how we built what the fuck we're doing.
So one of my podcasts that I did was called Mental Breakdown. It speaks on this very topic, man, about this stuff. But for me, I'm not one to sit there. See, I'll prep. Like we'll get on a couple minutes before we start going. We'll just conversate. I don't like drilling people with questions. I don't see the point of that. I like things to
Yeah,
be. I like free
free
flowing,
flowing.
natural conversation that develops on its own. So when I pre-call and we sit there and talk, I just want to see how what's up, how you doing. You know what I mean? I ask you maybe one or two questions, have a couple jokes, and then we get started like we did earlier. I'm not sitting here
Yeah,
asking I don't write questions down because to me that's not natural. That's not a real interview. If you're gonna sit there
yeah.
and ask 20 questions, you might as well be a news reporter. That's not what I'm trying to do. What it's true. What I'm trying to do is to have people open up on their own. Tell me their likes, tell me their dislikes. What gets them up, what gets them going, what gets them hype. That's the kind of stuff because I love. I don't. It may seem but sound like the wrong term, but I love gassing people up. I get excited for people, man. And the reason I get excited for people is because I'm one of these type of dudes. I want to see everybody eat, man. But I come from a different generation. My generation is, we kept everybody eat. If I'm eating, everybody eating. This generation ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference. That's why I still get excited for people.
I I didn't grow up. Thank God I didn't grow up in this generation. Uh, thank God, Lord Jesus. I grew up millennial. I'm a millennial. Um, so I kind of got a lot of Gen X. I think that's what it was. Gen X,
I
right?
don't know. I have no
I
idea.
think so, right? I don't fucking know either. But Gen X, I think, and I think we were talking about this earlier. This is what I wanted to say about that. I think every generation is the reflection of what the last was.
Mm,
I think every generation is a reflection of the last one because my generation, we didn't get away with a lot of shit, but we got away with a lot of shit that they were already letting people get away with.
I got away with nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all got away with nothing. Then the next generation, they kind of had to deal with some shit, but not a lot.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
we had to deal with some of the shit that they didn't deal with. So all of the shit they couldn't deal with, we had to deal with. And now these new millennial, these new kids, Gen Z, they don't know how to fucking react. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to because when somebody criticizes them, they take it as hate. They take it as offensive. They take it as bullying. I don't, bro. I've never seen as many people calling bullying. Like I had to deal with real bullying. Like I remember real bullying. You remember
Yeah.
school bullying?
Yeah.
That shit was real.
Yeah.
Like that shit was real. And then you had to see these motherfuckers in the neighborhood. You were on the same bus as these motherfuckers and shit. I had to deal with real fucking bullying. This new shit, like nigga, you ain't never turned off a fucking computer before? Like the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all know what the exit button is? Y'all know what the press button is? Like, come on, bro. Like that's not
People
real.
like the drama, man. They like the drama.
Yeah,
That's what it comes
man. And
down to,
that's
man.
and that's the fucking problem. Don't do I do drama if it fucking made sense. It don't make sense. I'm not afraid of cancel culture. I don't give a fuck. You're actually helping me out. You're really actually helping me out. I don't know if you don't know that. Like anybody that's really afraid to be canceled is because they don't think they can do anything else.
Yeah.
They're so afraid to be canceled because they don't know nothing else. This is all they know.
Yeah.
And I think that for me personally, I'm like, man, I live with not giving a fuck. You think I care about somebody getting offended? Like, you think I
Yeah.
give a fuck about you being offended? Like, bruh, you don't know shit about being offended. Like, I can easily get you offended. Man. Like, it's like so. I take this as this generation is afraid, and I think we pump that fucking fear in these kids. I don't fucking know why though. We did this to them kids, and the next kids we gonna see
I don't know.
because
I'm real old school with my kids. So my kids cook,
oh
they
my god,
clean, they wash their own clothes. I don't play that game. I'm very old school when it comes to my kid. And I try to explain to them it's life lessons, man. I'm teaching you how to be self-sufficient, be on
you
your
teaching
own.
them how to be a fucking grown up.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but more importantly for these next kids, man, the next generation, I'm afraid. I don't have kids yet. Like I said, I don't have kids yet, but when I do, I'm afraid for my kids. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm already afraid because I know I'm gonna be so. nonchalant about some shit, and then
Mhm.
some shit I'm gonna be very fucking strict on. Like I'm gonna be nonchalant about a lot of other shit, but like the shit that I say, hey, this is the shit I don't want you to do. And if you do it, you seem like you grown to do that shit. I told you not to do. All right, get your ass out.
So speaking on the future before we jump off, what does the future hold for Brandon? What does the future hold for you? What besides your podcast network? What are your dreams, man? Besides that, there has to be other stuff besides that. There has to be other goals and aspirations because you always have to have something to fall back on, man.
Oh man.
Or is that just your main goal? And you have blinders on and all you want to see is that.
Oh no, I don't have blinders on. I think I got two. We're talking about professional and then personal.
Yeah, of course.
Uh, Professional is the podcast. It's the
Mhm.
podcast network. One day I will get it. Hopefully I will do it. And it will grow into something. Uh, but before then, keep building. I don't have no problems with continuously building. I think at the end of the day, like that's all you can do. Until somebody says, "I see you." You know,
So
and then when it goes to like personal, like I said, I'm 27, so uh, I don't know, maybe a family one day, maybe a family. I don't know. I'm 20. Like I said, I'm 27. I'm getting up there, man. So I
you said
want
you're getting up
kids.
there.
Yeah, I'm
You're
getting up there, man. I'm
27,
getting
bro.
up. I'm 27, man. I'll be 28 in January. So getting up there. But me personally, it's just like I want kids. I don't know about marriage. Some
It's not
days
for
I'm like,
everybody.
yeah, yeah. It's like I think if I'm committed to somebody, you should know I'm already committed to you. Like I'm not going any fucking where.
Yeah.
Like I'm committed. Like I'm good. I mean, like, you don't. I give you a ring if that's what you want, but I don't. I don't think that that's all that I can provide for you. I think that you already stability. You got stability. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. Like I don't. But personal, that's my personal feeling. Like it's just like I want kids. I want because I got nieces and nephews that I
Mhm.
want to have like. That's my little cousin. Don't fuck with them. I will beat your ass if you touch
Right.
my little cousin. Like, I want, like, cause I want that. Like, that'd be so cool. And you start that bullying shit with us. It's a different conversation.
Right.
But professionally, man, just keep going. I don't think that I'm not tired. I think, like I said, once it starts to feel like a real fucking job,
Yeah.
it's time to jet. It's time to go.
So for me, mine is to build my um production company. So it's gonna be one break at a time. This is a start doing with the podcast, doing the video stuff. Eventually, I want to start, with the clothing stuff if I can, and then eventually, what I really want to do is, movies. Record videos. Interview. It's what I love to do, man. I just love talking to people, man. That's my passion. It's always been my passion. But that's my personal. When it comes to I already achieved that dream. I'm married, have my kids, I have my house, all my land. That part of my life is, is a pretty much set. The only thing I would add to that is just more travel. And we travel now as it is, but I want more travel. I promised my wife when I married her I was going to take her around the world. We've gone to a couple different places. We're not there yet. We still got some more places to go. But professionally, man, it's just building my production company, man, one step at a time. We can, if you have people that are willing to collab, that's great. But sometimes you have to do things because you just can't find people to help. You know what I mean? And you got to build things on your own. And I think sometimes that's a good thing, but I also think sometimes that's short sightedness for some people. I always think collaboration is the best way to build empires, man. You know what I mean?
I think also my pet peeve, one of my pet peeves is just don't tell me you're gonna do something for me and not do it.
And not do it right.
It's like that's the fucking worst. Don't ever do that because it's so bad. Because now you put me in a position where I have to now make up for what you couldn't do and what I should have did a long time
Yeah. But listen,
ago.
man, I really appreciate you coming on, man. We went long, you know what I mean, which is great because that means we had a good conversation. You are more than welcome always to come back on the show, man. Anytime you want to jump on, just let
And
me know, man. You can come back on. We can have a conversation anytime. So let the people know again where they can find you at, where they can find your podcast, and let them know who you are.
Oh man, once again, man, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate this, man. Opening up your podcast platform to me, man, your platform to me. I really appreciate it. I can't even like tell you, man, how much that really means to me. Because, like I said, we all trying to do this at the end of the day, and sometimes people could tell you I'm gonna fuck with you, and then 5 seconds later be like, oh, well, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
As soon as you told me you want to do this with me, I was like, all right, let's do it. But as of everything, man, Brandon Janeau Show, Janeau Show is where the podcast is on podcast platforms. You can hit I think it's like a plus sign, check sign, something on there. It will follow my podcast. Also, give you notifications when it drops. Also, Brandon Janeau Show is the YouTube channel, Janeau YouTube channel. And again, man, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate you having me, man. And like I said, give me a chance to be on your platform, man. I really
So I'm gonna go
appreciate
follow you. I'm gonna go follow you on the YouTube channel. You can find me also on YouTube. Is Frankly Francisco podcast on there.
it. Yeah,
I'm
man.
also on every streaming site out that's literally out there that you can get. IG, even TikTok. I'm on there as well. But thanks for
You in
coming
this
on.
TikTok.
Yeah,
You in
I
this
know.
TikTok. Lord,
Yeah.
Lord, Lord. And I gotta say, man, I've been shouting you out for the last couple of weeks since we did the man cave
The
thing,
man
man.
cave.
Yeah, shout out Dope. And man, it was so much fun, man.
Yeah.
And I really thank you for that because, like I said, man, it's a lot of people that can see you as like competition,
Right.
and at the end of the day, we all need each other to get to the
Yeah.
top.
I'm not
I
about
don't,
that
I
life,
don't.
bro. I'm
Yeah,
not
man,
about that life.
I don't take it as competition. Every time I do something for somebody in this podcast business, man, I take it. I don't even take it as a business. I take it as a community, man, because there's a lot of people, like I said, that would easily come in here and be like, "All right, everybody food, everybody." I'm taking everybody food off the table
Right.
today. But instead, it's like, why? Like we need each other. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
100%.
you got a platform, I got a platform, but when we team up, like you said, it's perfect, man. It's a good match.
All right, Brandon. It was great having you on, man. This is the Frankie Francisco podcast. I will see you folks on the next episode. You guys take it easy.